Hello, everyone. I can see people joining us from Hong Kong, Taipei, and Macau, so welcome. We will begin in about 1 minute. In the meantime, please check that you can hear me clearly. Today, we will take you step by step through the complete roadmap for studying in Switzerland in 2026. Welcome to Study in Switzerland 2026. Today, I will be your personal study abroad strategist. When people think of Switzerland, they often picture travel first, the Alps, beautiful lakes, and chocolate. Today, however, we are going to look at Switzerland from a career development perspective. Whether you are preparing to complete the Hong Kong DSE, finishing secondary school in Taiwan, or planning to apply for a master's program, this session will give you a direct and practical overview. We will cover the real cost of tuition and everyday life, the visa requirements, and the steps you need to take to gain admission successfully. So, let's begin. Let's start with the biggest question. Why Switzerland? Why not the United Kingdom, the United States, or Australia? On this slide, you can see 3 key reasons: quality, safety, and future trends. Switzerland is home to ETH Zurich, which is consistently regarded as one of the leading universities in continental Europe. It also has many of the world's most prestigious hospitality schools. But rankings are only part of the story. Switzerland truly stands out for its safety and stability, and for many parents listening today, that may be the most important consideration. It really is a very safe country. Looking ahead to 2026, there is also strong demand for talent in STEM, fintech, and sustainability. By studying in Switzerland, you place yourself right at the center of these industries. The Swiss education system can look a little complicated, so let's simplify it. Essentially, you have 3 main routes. The first is the traditional university, often described as a UH, such as ETH Zurich or the University of Zurich. These universities are a good fit for students who want a research-focused education, or may pursue a PhD later. Their programs tend to be more theoretical. The second route is a University of Applied Sciences, or UAS, such as ZHAW. This is ideal for students who value hands-on learning. If you study marketing there, for example, you will not spend all your time reading textbooks. You may work directly on projects for real companies. The third route is hospitality schools and other private specialist institutions, such as EHL or Les Roches. These schools have a very clear professional focus, a highly international student body, and programs centered on hospitality, high-end services, and luxury business management. So, what should you study? First, there is hospitality and tourism, an area in which Switzerland is widely seen as the gold standard. If you want to build an international career in luxury brands or high-end service, Switzerland is an excellent place to start. Second, there is STEM. If you are interested in fields such as engineering or biotechnology, Basel and Zurich are both world-class industry hubs. Third, there is business. For students who dream of working in banking, the University of St. Gallen, also known as HSG, is a top destination. Whatever subject you choose, do not select a university simply because the scenery is beautiful. Look carefully at the city around the institution and ask whether the industry you want to enter is actually concentrated there. Now for one of the questions everyone asks. Do I have to speak German or French? If you are applying for a bachelor's degree at a public university, the answer is usually yes. You will generally need German or French at C1 level. Private institutions, however, offer many more programs taught entirely in English. For master's applicants, there is good news. English is now a mainstream teaching language, and many master's programs in business and STEM are delivered fully in English. My advice is to complete your degree in English if that is the right route for you, but also take advantage of any free German or French classes offered by your university. When the time comes to look for a job after graduation, local language skills can become your secret weapon. If you are preparing to finish secondary school, please pay close attention to this table. For students from Hong Kong, DSE results are extremely important. Public universities have strict entry requirements and will usually expect 3 or 4 subjects at specified levels. For students from Taiwan, the situation is more complicated. A Taiwanese high school diploma is not usually recognized as direct entry to a Swiss public university, so you may first need to complete 1 year of university study in Taiwan or pass the ECUS examination. Private institutions are much more flexible. In general, a high school qualification together with an IELTS score of around 5.5 to 6.0 may be enough to make you eligible for admission. The requirements are different for master's applicants. In the United Kingdom or the United States, changing fields can sometimes be relatively straightforward. Swiss public universities, however, generally expect you to hold a related degree. In other words, your previous studies must align with the master's program you want to enter. If your bachelor's degree is in history, for example, you normally cannot move directly into a master's in computer science. For GPA, a sensible target is at least 3.0 on a 4-point scale. If you were considering an MBA or a program at a private institution, professional experience can be just as important as your academic record. If you want to begin your studies in September 2026, you absolutely cannot wait until 2026 to start preparing. From late 2024 into early 2025, you should be researching universities and preparing for IELTS. By late 2025, application portals will begin to open. Deadlines at public universities can be very early, with some programs closing as early as November or January. Around the middle of 2026, you will need to deal with the visa process, and that is one step you simply cannot afford to delay. Now, let's talk about money. Switzerland has a very noticeable low and high pattern. The low part is public university tuition. At some institutions, it may be around 700 Swiss francs per semester, which can even be less than tuition at a local university in Hong Kong or Taiwan. The high part is the cost of living, because rent and food are expensive. As a practical estimate, you should budget around 1,500 to 2,500 Swiss francs per month. Private institutions cost much more, with tuition often above 30,000 Swiss francs. Keep in mind, however, that these private school fees may already include meals and campus accommodation. Once you compare the full cost rather than tuition alone, the difference may be somewhat smaller than it first appears. Almost everyone asks about scholarships. The Swiss Government Excellence Scholarship is highly respected, highly competitive, and aimed mainly at researchers. Individual universities, including ETH, also offer merit-based awards. For a student visa, you must show sufficient financial means, but Switzerland does not use one nationwide fixed amount for every canton. The competent canton sets the requirement. For example, Zurich currently treats 21,000 Swiss francs for 12 months as sufficient, while other cantons use different figures and document rules. Before applying, confirm the current amount and accepted evidence with the canton where you will study. Next comes the National Visa Type D. Students from Hong Kong and Macau apply through the Swiss consulate in Hong Kong, while students from Taiwan apply through the relevant Swiss representation in Taipei. A complete application is forwarded to the competent cantonal migration authority. For Hong Kong and Macau applicants, the official guidance says the process takes at least 8 to 12 weeks, and some cases take longer. Start as soon as you receive admission. Allow extra time, and check the current consular checklist. What is everyday life in Switzerland really like? It is highly organized and very rule-conscious. The trains are so punctual that people practically measure their arrival times in seconds. Housing, however, is extremely competitive. If your university offers you a room in student accommodation, accept it. Trying to rent a private home in Zurich can feel like entering the Hunger Games. Then there are Sundays. Sundays in Switzerland are very quiet, and most shops are closed. For those of us who come from busy, energetic Asian cities, that can be a real culture shock at first. Over time, though, you may learn to appreciate and enjoy the calm. Can third country students work while studying in Switzerland? Yes, but only under specific conditions. Students at a Swiss university or University of Applied Sciences may be authorized by the canton to work after the first 6 months. During term time, the usual limit is 15 hours per week. The school must confirm that work will not delay your studies, and the employer submits the application. After graduating from a Swiss higher education institution, third country nationals have 6 months to look for work that matches their qualification. This is a job search period, not a guarantee of employment or long-term residence. Always check the current canton and federal rules. Here are 3 practical recommendations I want to give you personally as an education advisor. First, look at employability, not only rankings. In some cases, a degree from a University of Applied Sciences can help you enter the workforce faster than a heavily research-focused degree. Second, be proactive. Swiss professors will not chase every student or manage your progress for you. You need to ask questions, express your views, and pursue opportunities yourself. Third, build your network. Switzerland is a small market, so a recommendation from someone who knows you or works in your industry can have a very significant impact. After today's session, what can you do tonight? First, identify 3 to 5 target institutions. Do not just browse their websites casually. Download the program brochures and compare them carefully. Second, take an IELTS practice test so you understand your current level. Third, have an honest conversation with your parents about the full budget. As part of that discussion, check the current proof of funds requirement with the competent canton. For example, Zurich currently uses 21,000 Swiss francs for 12 months, but other cantons use different figures and document rules. Confirm the amount and acceptable evidence before applying. Finally, rely only on official sources. For study information, use the Study in Switzerland Plus website. For visa information, go to sem.admin.ch. I hope today's roadmap has helped you picture your journey to Switzerland in 2026 much more clearly. The process certainly has its challenges, but the potential rewards make it extremely worthwhile. I will now open the session for questions, so please feel free to ask about individual universities or the visa process. Thank you very much for joining us.